Hi, friends. You don't have to be a Boy Scout to live by their motto, be prepared. And for those of us over 50, there are any number of reasons why being prepared for emergencies or unplanned extended stays in our homes is critical. Could be anything from a power outage to a snowstorm, civil unrest, and, being prepared for situations like what we went through during COVID, all the shortages at the stores. We don't want to go through that again, right? And it could be that you just can't get out of the house for some other reason. Maybe your kids live far away or you don't have a lot of friends around to help. Bottom line is, we just need to be ready. And the amount of time we need to be prepared for in emergencies can vary greatly. But I'd say the minimum is 2 weeks, and the longest could be up to a few months. Just be prepared. Plan accordingly, right? The essentials, of course, are food, water, and warmth for ourselves and our pets, first aid, medications from basic pain relievers to prescriptions. So, let's talk about food. Canned fruit and veggies, either ones that you purchase at the store or ones that you've done on your own, are great ideas. And what you can do is when you're shopping, pick up a couple extra cans or, of something and just add it to your collection a little bit at a time. You don't have to run out and spend hundreds of dollars all at once if you can't. So just, a little bit at a time. Freeze-dried foods are good. Dehydrated foods are good. You know what? For the first time, I tried these this year, and I'll tell you, these are dehydrated hash browns. I don't think I'll ever be going back to the frozen ones. They're fantastic. Another thing I tried for the first time are these. MREs. First designed for the military, of course, but this is a chicken burrito bowl. Everything is in here for a complete meal, from the main course to dessert to, crackers and other things like that, or sometimes tortillas, is all in here, including a flameless heater to actually prepare this. So it's fantastic. Canned Spam. I know Spam gets a bad rap, but it's also available now in single-serving pouches, which are great. Powdered eggs and many other foods intended for camping or survival. They're all really good choices. Peanut butter is another good choice if you're not allergic to it. You're going to want a couple gallons of oil, like maybe one of olive and one cooking oil. And of course, your canned or dry pet food. Both have a long shelf life and will get you through an extended stay. In addition, a heat source for outdoor cooking, such as a propane camp stove or a rocket stove, could be very handy. And I'll add that in purchasing any kind of foods that you're not familiar with, you should check the ingredients to make sure that, if you're allergic to anything, that you avoid them. Water's critical, of course. Those 5-gallon refillable jugs are great if you can handle them. Otherwise, there are smaller sizes available in 1 and 3-gallon sizes. Now, if you don't have access to that, there is a device called a life straw. And these are fantastic because you can actually purify any water with one of these. It could be a pond or a stream or your backyard rainwater container. Here's how they work. This top comes off. This is the part where your mouth goes on. This part comes open, and this is what goes into the water. And you simply suck the water through. I know if you've never seen one of these before, the water that comes from these after it's been purified is crystal clear. And this removes 99.9999, I don't know how many nines, but of the impurities and contaminants, including microbes and microplastics, dirt. The crystal clear water is safe for drinking and cooking. And in fact, many of the food choices I mentioned earlier require some water, including the MREs. These can be inserted directly into water, but this improved model, let me grab this again. If you take this insert out, these actually screw on to containers like water bottles or soda bottles, and then you screw it on there and hold it up. The water gravity feeds through, giving you the clean water. It's just fantastic. And it might be a good idea to have a couple of those around. Now we need to keep warm, and probably the best and most inexpensive way is to use those space blankets. Now those maintain, or contain, I should say, 90% of your body heat, and they also work well by themselves or in conjunction with a regular blanket. If you don't want to get that foil, feeling up against your body, just use a regular blanket, put the space blanket, easy for me to say, around it. First aid and medications are, of course, critical. And here's something I can't believe I didn't have until recently, and that was a nice first aid kit. Now, this particular one's got 260 pieces of essential first aid items in there, everything from bandages to gauze to antiseptic cream. And I would supplement that with rubbing alcohol wipes and a bottle of hydrogen peroxide. Altogether, these can take care of just about any common cuts and scratches. Common pain relievers are important. Whatever your preferred one is, whether it's aspirin or Tylenol or ibuprofen, keep a good supply of those on handy. And talk to your healthcare provider. This is the hardest one. Your healthcare provider may be able to make arrangements to get you an advanced supply of all of your prescriptions. Good to have and critical if you can certainly get it. Now, I'm going to provide links below for all of these items that are from Amazon. These are Amazon affiliate links. You don't pay anything extra if you use them, but I'd get a small commission from Amazon, which of course helps with the channel, and it helps me out a little bit too. Gas in the tank. My dad always said, never let your gas tank fall below half. Just top it off when you can. If you stop and think about it, it makes sense because gas is expensive, and if you can put it in a little bit at a time, it's better than, wait until you're empty and then having to come up with a big chunk of change to fill it up. That way, if you do have to go somewhere, you'll be much better off. Other items that I think I would keep in the home kit are flashlights, headlamps, or lanterns, either battery-powered or rechargeable. A solar-powered battery bank or a radio with wind-up power. Have you ever seen those? They usually have a battery bank inside, an AM/FM weather band radio built in, a flashlight built in, and they charge, of course, by solar power. But if you don't have solar power, there's a crank on them, and you just wind it up, and it powers it up enough to at least get a little bit of light from your flashlight or to be able to listen to the radio for emergency information. Can openers. A lot of the items we talked about include cans, of course, so keep a few of those on hand. Now, the information I'm presenting today has absolutely nothing to do with fear-mongering or panic. In fact, it's quite the opposite. By being prepared, we're not forced to jump into reactionary mode like we did during COVID. It kind of came up from nowhere and suddenly we had to react to the shortages and, things like that. Just be prepared. I appreciate you adding comments below because I'm sure I missed some things, and I'd like to hear what you have to say. There might be some ideas that I could do secondary videos about. For example, how to use this life straw, or how to put together an MRE. I'm open to just about anything. My name's Mike Sabatini. I really appreciate the time we spent here today, and I hope we can get together again soon. Take care, friends.